I quit alcohol just over 4 months ago, and these videos are the documentation of the process, of all the things that I'm doing, the experiences that I've had in the past, and what I'm planning to do for the future. All of it is a form of accountability to myself and now to other people, to hold myself to staying sober and to building a life that is filled with adventure and one that I am proud to call my own. My name is Dean, this is my sobriety story, and if you are struggling with alcohol, maybe some of the things that I say in my videos will help you too. In the previous video, I described all the details of a challenge that I put myself through in the second month of my sobriety. This Spartan Mode challenge was very important for me to develop the character that I want to be in my so-called new life. Somebody who is disciplined, reliable, does a lot of healthy habits and is consistent with them. The truth is that I stepped into that challenge as a form of need. I needed to make a change because when I accepted the challenge of quitting drinking just over a month prior, I had a lot of motivation that came from within me. I had reached enough. I didn't want this to continue. I didn't want the lies and the destruction in my life to continue anymore. So I came up with an idea to say, I accept the challenge and I would go for it. The problem is that the identity hadn't fully formed yet, and I was relying a lot on willpower. Willpower and motivation is a great thing to have, but it's a terrible thing to rely on to get you through difficult times. And because of this is why I had to step into a challenge to make a transition from going from using willpower and a self-created identity into actually having the habits and living that identity. I think it's very important to mention this in conjunction with the previous video, because without good, healthy habits, it's going to be damn near impossible to beat this addiction in the long term. So to just summarize my point in a very short and clear way is that when you decide to make the change, when you decide I'm going to quit, you need to create a sense of identity that I am the person that wants to quit this. And the truth is that a lot of that is going to be built up on motivations of negative emotions that led you to that point to say, I am gonna do this. This is the time. We've all been through that, right? We've all quit many times where we've had that motivation and then it doesn't last. This is why it's important to take it a step further and step into the world, into the character that the new person lives in. And that's why I spent 30 days as a different character. Truth be told, it was a little bit too intense for me. It was a little bit unsustainable. But throughout that time, because it was long enough, it was 30 days of it, I did start to develop habits that did stick with me. Most notably are the exercise habit, the food habit, going to bed early, or at least trying to get at least 7.5 hours to 8 hours of sleep, and using the F90 protocol as a tool to constantly refocus at work. These have been life-changing for me, and there's no way I can live my life without those things now. And through going through this process of 30 days and forming those habits, you basically are changing from a character, a desire that you want to be, to the person that you are. And now I can, in my own time, try to add other healthy habits as time goes on, but I'm not having to do it in this crazy sprint towards a 30-day goal. Now, everything that I've said so far has been about steering away from needing willpower and going towards relying on habits to build a new environment for yourself where this is your new normal. All of this is great, but it still doesn't take away the fact that urges arise, the desire to drink can still happen. In fact, it happened to me just this weekend. And I will talk about that in the next video, because the fact that after 4 months this type of thing can still happen is something you need to be prepared for, and you need to know how to handle that. So next video, very important. But looking at that from a more zoomed out point of view, not just on a single incident, is that all the healthy habits are a form of building a new life. but there is still work to be done in healing the old. And that is dealing with the shame and the trail of destruction that you have left behind you from the years of drinking. And this is what I focused on in the month that followed the challenge. So this is something that I'm going to break down in more detail. As with the last video, I'm going to give you all the steps, and then in later videos, we can look at the details of all those different things. So the takeaways from this video are: put yourself through a challenge like that, make it time limited, and make sure that you are going from the desire of a new character to living the new character. And then as a secondary challenge after that, it's time to do some deeper introspection for the healing aspect, which is just as important to make this a sustainable thing for the rest of your life. With that, thank you for being here for this in-between video. It's not really an exercise, it's just some afterthoughts from the previous video that I think are important and worth sharing. And it also gives you a little bit of a guideline as to what is coming next.